From the deep dark reaches of Star Trek Online comes Nikodas, Tabbytha, and Grebog with another episode of Fleet Action Report.
Welcome to Fleet Action Report, the show where we don't just play the game, but we teach you how to play the game. I'm Nikodas.
I'm still Grebog, and unfortunately no Tabby tonight. I believe she has a migraine, so yeah, she's taking care of herself. That is the important thing.
Those are never fun. I never suffered from them, but both of my sisters and my mother do, and I grew up with that. So she definitely has my sympathies.
Yeah, I was like, I have been fortunate. I guess I've had some bad headaches, but I will never compare them to a migraine because the way anyone that's had migraines described them to me, you get no thanks. And I feel for anyone that suffers from migraines. But yeah, so I guess here we need to get the show on the road, or sort of. So, computer run program, Fleet Action Report episode 227, Starship traits and the details, the why. Being here is support enough. We appreciate all of you, but if you also want to try to help us financially, you can subscribe. We appreciate all our subscribers. Or if you don't want to give Twitch money, you can. We have a setup with coffee. You can go over to ko-fi.com/jerrybog, and you can send us some coffee money that way. Yeah. All right, Nikodas, what have you been up to, and how have you been?
I've been doing well, sir. Thank you for asking. Playing a lot of Magic the Gathering these days. Between the MTG Forge and the Tabletop Simulator, I've discovered that I have several friends who live far away that enjoy playing the game, and we've kind of picked up virtually playing and been doing a lot of it, which is cool, which is neat. It's nice to be able to quote sit at a table unquote with friends and play those games like we used to. Excuse me. Even if the game itself has changed somewhat, there's a lot of differences from back in our college days from when we used to play. Outside of that, I've been working on my army of alts here in STO and prepping for school, which I've got an orientation Tuesday, and I'll get my class schedule then. Yeah, go from there. What about you, sir? How's your week been?
I got to dip into one of those Magic the Gathering games the other night, whatever day that was, Sunday, Monday.
Yes.
Been a while.
I'm glad you joined us. It was fun.
But I had fun, even though I had no clue what the deck was doing. But you know, I've also been delving into the secrets in World of Warcraft. There is a current mount secret. Like there's a bunch of secret stuff you have to unlock, figure out a bunch of puzzles, and at the end of the whole chain, you will eventually be awarded a mount. And I have unlocked basically the secret chamber, I guess would be the thing. It's where all the puzzles are stored and all the stuff that you have to do, where your progress is being kept and whatnot. It's essentially an instance, but for those that have done one of the Death Knight methods to get your special weapon during Legion took you through the Karazhan catacombs. It is in there. But outside of that, I've been playing some STO, doing my dailies, working on getting this guy his diplomacy up, and doing other various things in game. Yeah. So I guess I also should leading into what's new in STO this week. I also dipped into the Tribble test server. I did not do the stress testing. For those that were paying attention, they did an invite out to do stress testing on the servers and they invited everyone to go to DS9 to have some fun, and essentially they had a queue running around, and you were in space fighting Q. Yeah. But they were trying to get as many people as they could to try to help stress test. Also, something that they have done on the Tribble server, if you go, anyone can go to the Tribble server. If you go on your launcher, there you should see Holodeck and Tribble. You can click on Tribble. It will require installing another version of the game, but you can go see the new Sol system, and there's a new Earth space dock. Well, exterior. There's a new Earth space dock exterior. Essentially, we are getting the Picard Earth space dock. So those that watch Picard saw the Earth space dock there. That will be coming into game. People keep saying like, oh, that'll be coming for Q's Winter Wonderland and this, that, and the other. I'm like, except I'm pretty sure I thought they responded that it's coming with the new content, which will be roughly around the anniversary in the beginning of the year. So once we get new content, we are getting the new Earth space dock, and we will have that and new Earth. Like, they remastered Earth. Earth is much larger. The space dock is probably more appropriate to scale, because right now, if you really think about it, this is a lot smaller than what it probably should be to Earth sitting below us. So that they're trying to fix some of that scale issue on the size, and also get you a lot more accurate version of what Earth looks like. Though I always thought this looked pretty good, in my opinion. But yeah, we're moving ahead. Though there are things to note. Like the map is way different. You can't get to the backside of the planet. Like if you look at, I have the map pulled up here. You can actually get to the backside of Earth. Well, you will no longer be able to do that. The map is roughly the front half of Earth. I guess since it rotates, it's relative on what's front, but you know, the half nearest to the station. And they moved some stuff around. They did not change. Like we also have we still have the new portal for the for all the lifetime sub people, but nothing changed in there either. And you can still see Mars in the stars, and Jupiter, and I believe Venus is also visible if you know where to look for all of that. So yeah. Anyway, that's sort of what I was doing, and some STO new week stuff. Next up on the STO this week.
This week in STO, yes. Yes, that's me, isn't it? See, this is what I get when I'm listening and not reading along. The lifetime subs are on sale from now until the 23rd, so you have 2 days. They're $100 off, so basically $199.99. Get it while it's hot.
They also announced Black Friday sales. They started, I think, technically Tuesday, and they are going until December 3rd for 25% off everything in the Zen store, and that even includes 25% off all the mud stuff. I was kind of curious if that would they would include that, but yes, that does include that. However, it doesn't make it cheaper. Well, it is what. It's still cheaper, but there's the mud stuff's still expensive. And then also now it started probably, I think, also on Tuesday, but it goes until December 4th. There's a 25% bonus on purchase Zen, which means, so if you when you buy Zen, you're still going to pay like the $50, $20, whatever, $100. You're going to get 25% more Zen than what the initial purchase was. So that is a way. If someone that buys Zen, and have money right now, you can get more bang for your buck than normal. Yeah.
And the feast is ongoing now until December 3rd. This will also start on consoles here in just a couple days on the 24th. This is the last event for our current year-long event campaign. You need 14 completions to, and you get one of those from the TFOs. Either you can run Bug Hunt, which is ground, or you can run Swarm, which is in space. Either one will get you one completion. You need a total of 14. The prize is a universal kit module Macrovirus array, 3 featured TFO reward boxes, which are either a specialization point or an enhanced tech upgrade, and 25,000 dilithium ore. That's it. So we got a couple more weeks on the event, and then I'm sure we'll have an announcement on the winter event. I know that question has been upcoming. So for tonight, our primary target, we're going to talk about Starship traits, and we have broken this down by the builds that these traits would go into. Now, I did put a lot in here, so we may not actually have time to cover everything. But we're going to talk about the individual trait, where it comes from, what it does, and then maybe a little bit about why you would want to use this. What makes this trait good? And Grebog, you get to start us off with energy.
I'm going to share first here. This is a table that I created. If people want to go to that at any point in time, I'll put it in the show notes. But essentially, I went through a lot of people's builds and a lot of traits that people use, and I denoted what ships they came from, what builds are used on, and that way you can see kind of cross-reference all of that detail. And if you're looking to start out building up a captain, it's a great way to figure out what you might need to pick up, or where you can pick up things quick. But yeah, so energy weapons, energy, these are some of the general traits. The first one we have up is Calm Before the Storm, which is comes off the Cardassian Gimmer Intel Flight Deck Carrier, which is a sea store ship. So not terribly hard to pick up. Thanks for the subscription, Durkin.
You beat me to it. Yes, and we tend to do that a lot. So if you're new to the show, we do a structured show on Thursday nights, like tonight, where we're sharing information. And then on Mondays, we do just a fun night where we're just in here to blow stuff up. So you can tune into one or the other or both. But yeah, tonight's information.
Well, and the whole point of that spreadsheet was it was actually this character. I'm putting together this character for various builds, and I wanted the information all together in one spot versus having to dig through everything. So yeah, but yeah. So Calm Before the Storm, the Cardassian Gimmer. Basically, you get Calm stack every 2 seconds, and then you gain Storm at 10 stacks. And here, I have it right in front of me. Yeah, you get 1 stack every 2 seconds. Then when you get, which is the Calm gives you 5 all damage resistance rating. Once you hit 10 stacks, you get for 20 seconds. It'll remove Calm. You'll get the Storm stack, and it gives you 33% fire cycle haste, energy weapons, and bridge officer abilities recharge 33% faster. Fire cycle haste and bridge officer recharge reduction is always big in a lot of these, and you'll probably notice that trend. Emergency weapon cycle. This is from the Arbiter. It's or the correct battle cruise. It comes from several ships. It's one of the reasons why a lot of times you will hear people if you're going to spend any money on a ship, the first ship people recommend is the Arbiter, mainly because of this one trait. Basically, whenever you activate emergency power to weapons, you gain a reduction to your, you get minus 50% weapon power cost for 30 seconds, and then 20% fire cycle haste for energy weapons for 30 seconds. It is a great trait. Great for getting those either, both of these work great for fire at will and beam overload or cannon rapid, like any energy weapon. You want to fire faster, and this reduces your weapon cost, so there's less delay between shots. You don't have to worry about charge up time. I don't have this trait, but yeah, eclectic collector of armaments. It's from a lockbox ship, the Shrike Intel Juggernaut. Using different kinds of attacks, each grant 10% bonus damage and recharge of innate weapons. Beams, cannons, torps, capital ship innate weapons, universal consoles, experimental weapons. It boosts a lot of damage.
Isn't that essentially the same as the mixed armaments synergy?
A little bit. It might be more potent, might give you a bigger percentage increase. Supercharged weapons. This one comes from a sea store ship, which is the Endeavor Tactical Star Cruiser, or legendary Verity, Martok, Tactical Battle Cruisers, the Kopesh Tactical Dreadnought Warbird, then their legendary Scimitar. Basically, firing a torpedo grants 1 stack, up to 3 max. Each stack gives plus 10% damage, 1.5% critical hit, and 6.6 critical damage. It's mass in a tree. Oh, mixed armor. Yeah, because mixed armor synergy. I have to look that up. But anyway, history.
Yes. I've actually got it pulled up. So mixed armament synergy 3 says activating a beam, cannon, mine, or torpedo will cause you to gain 50% bonus to all damage for the other 3 types. So like if you fire a beam, you get the bonus to cannons, mines, and torpedoes. If you fire a mine, then you get it to beams, cannons, and torpedoes. Just not the one that you're using at the moment. So there is a little bit of difference, but it's close enough.
But one's a Starship trait and the other is not.
One is a power, yeah.
So I wonder how well those stack together.
Beams, cannons, torps. See, that one, the eclectic collector doesn't do mines. So instead they do capital ship innate weapons. Like if you have a phaser lance or something that's innate to the ship, that would trigger, which does not on mixed armaments. So there's a little bit of difference.
Yeah. The drawback being it's a lockbox ship, which means getting a hold of it
is hard. Yep.
Yeah. So the last one in the general energy weapons is History Will Remember, which is another sea store ship, Narinda Support Cruiser, or the Viral Support Battle Cruiser, or the Legendary Ambassador, or Legendary Vorcha. Each foe that you damage will grant you a stack of History Will Remember, plus 1% all damage, hull regen max, hull, and threat gen if in threatening stance. 30 stacks in max. Stacks max, and it's removed when you change maps. This is one of those nice ones that it keeps going while you're on the same map. So if you're going to do any map, the only times that would be a drawback would be, say, like when you're doing missions, because you change maps sometimes a lot. But TFOs, you stay on one map and just blow things up.
For the most part, yep.
Beam overload.
And there are some maps as well where it seems like you switch maps, but you don't. You actually just go to a different part of the map, and in stuff like that, your traits will stay. Like there's the TFO where you're fighting the heralds, and you bounce from inside the sphere to outside the sphere, but it's technically one map. We tested that. Yeah, so that was general. So on most ships you can have up to 7 Starship traits. So you'll want to mix for energy builds. Like you'll want some of those general ones, but then you'll want specific ones too. Beam Overload, for example, has 2 specific traits that I was able to find. The first one is Super Weapon Ingenuity. This comes from the Zindi Primate Adaleth Dreadnought Cruiser, which is in the Lobby store for 900 Lobby. And it just simply increases the duration of beam overload by 5 seconds. I wish they would throw that in a MUDs bundle. Moving right along, the second one is preferential targeting. This comes from the Phoenix Prize Pack or MUDs Market. It's the NX Escort Refit or the legendary Columbia Temporal Operative Escort from the 10th year anniversary. What this one does is anytime you activate Fire at Will or Cannon Scatter Volley, it adds a 100% damage bonus to Beam Overload. So it doubles the damage of Beam Overload for like 10 seconds. So there are builds where they use that, and essentially, even if you're not using a cannon, you'll slot Cannon Scatter Volley 1 and activate it like immediately before you activate your Beam Overload. That way you get that 100% bonus. And I've seen some pretty crazy damage builds off of that.
All right. Next, we're diving into Fire at Will, which a common one. This kind of can go in a few builds, but Entwined Tactical Matrices, which comes from the C-Store, Gagarin or Miracle Worker Battlecruiser. When activating a torpedo spread, apply Fire at Will 1 and Cannon Scatter Volley 1 to self. I think some people sometimes drop this also in a Cannon Scatter Volley build, but when activating Fire at Will or Scatter Volley, applies Torpedo Spread 1 to self. It's a way to get some free torpedoes and some free volleys or Fire at Wills. And then we have Redirecting Arrays. This is from the C-Store, Tucker or Clothos or Tabak Miracle Worker ships. When you Fire at Will is active, taking damage will increase its duration. And if anyone's known about firing at will at anything, you tend to get a lot of people looking at you.
Yep, very true. It is worth noting on that one that a lot of the number crunching people say that redirecting arrays is not worth using if you have entwined tactical matrices. It's better just to use the entwined and roll with it. Now, if you don't have entwined, but you do have redirecting, then use redirecting.
I could also see redirecting arrays work great on a tank build, because then, like, you're meant to be, you're probably going to be in threatening stance, and so you're definitely going to be taking damage, and it'll keep your Fire at Wills active way longer.
That's true. All right. Cannon Rapid Fire. Now, in my research for this, I really only found one that was specific to CRF, and it's called Go for the Kill. It comes off the Jem'Hadar ships, either the strike ship, the recon ship, or the legendary pilot attack ship. And all it does is when Rapid Fire is active, any critical hits extend the duration of Rapid Fire. So if you're going to run it, you probably want to put some locators on in order to up your critical hit chance.
I had a thought of one that might be good to do.
Well, I mean, the other one you already mentioned. The let me see, back it up here. We were talking about it for Beam Overload. The preferential targeting.
Oh no, the one I was thinking of is more for Cannon Scatter Volley, which we didn't put any for Cannon Scatter Volley.
Did we not have a section of that? I guess we didn't, did we?
Withering Barrage is the one I was looking for. Why am I using with? That's not supposed to be there. As I'm like looking at my build and I'm like, that's not supposed to be there. So Withering Barrage, since I have it right here, it's great for Cannon Scatter Volley. While this trait's equipped, duration of your Cannon Scatter Volley is increased. Extends duration of it by 4 seconds. It is the way to go. And let me pull up. Let's see. My spreadsheet says Withering Barrage comes from Legendary Defiant Pilot Warship. Also the Valiant Tactical Escort, Core Bird of Prey, Machala Bird of Prey, Malum Light Warbird, Legendary Burrell, Legendary Talis. Those all can get you Withering Barrage.
I only caught some of them, but I'll try to update it here in a little bit.
I was just like, wait, I know there's one we're missing here. Okay, so that was on to torpedoes. There's a lot of nice torpedoes, and they've added some here recently. Piercing projectiles, which is from the C-Store Appalachia Blockade Runner Escort on a torpedo or mine firing mode for 15 seconds plus 200 Starship shield pin and plus 200 Starship hull pin. And if you put that on a torpedo boat, you're firing all torpedoes all the time, which means you're getting a lot of Starship shield pin and Starship hull pin, and you're just wrecking. It's probably one that I'd say you would. It's kind of a must-have from the way I would see it. That seems very, very good. Ceaseless Momentum. This comes from the Infinity Lockbox or Mud Secret Intel Choice Pack from the Nikodas Intel Battlecruiser. Yeah, I'm trying my best to do the Klingon names. When firing any torpedo, you get plus 5% kinetic damage for 45 seconds and plus 5 bonus kinetic damage resistance rating for 45 seconds. That can stack up to 5 times. So, and then minus 1 second default to recharge time on torpedoes. So basically, anytime you fire a torpedo, you get a second taken off the recharge time to fire another torpedo, and then you get stacking kinetic damage and kinetic damage. But yeah, bonus to kinetic damage resistance rating. So good stuff there. Then we have subspatial warheads, which is 900 Lobi, or you can get it from Mud's Secret Intel Choice Pack. Hey, sounds like I already named that choice pack once. But this time it comes from the Sona Intel Battlecruiser. So there's 2 ships in that one mud pack for torpedo boats. Hitting with high yield or transport warhead spawns a subspace tear that will chase down the nearest foe while causing physical damage and minus 5 current engine power to all foes within 1 kilometer of it. So it's you're already doing a lot of kinetic damage. You're already boosting probably a lot of kinetic damage, and this just adds more kinetic damage while you're doing torpedo. Yeah. Advanced Precision Guided Munitions, which is from the C-Store. Also, the Cabot Command Light Escort. Great ship. Activating a weapon firing mode will enhance the next torpedo weapon fired. So it's a kind of similar to Entwine Tactical Matrices, but more boost your torps. Though let me.
And it's worth noting on that one that firing modes include torpedo spread or torpedo high yield.
Yeah. So you're triggering it not just from like doing cannon or fire at will or any of that other stuff. You can trigger it just on hitting torpedo fire modes. Next up, the last one that we have listed in the torpedo is the piggyback launch tubes. Now this one's a new one. It comes from the event ship Typhoon Temporal Battlecruiser. When firing any torpedo weapon, launch a microcharge that deals kinetic damage. So if you're on a torpedo boat and you want more torpedoes, this gives you an extra torpedo for every torpedo you fire.
It's a lot of torpedoes. I personally have not tested that yet. I have not put that ship on my torpedo character, on any of my torpedo characters. I really, really want to, though. Especially if you're using like the piercing projectiles where torpedoes get a lot of shield and hull pen. Like, I feel like those micro charges could be worth it.
I mean, it doubles your torpedoes essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm very curious to try it out, but I haven't done it yet. Exotic. Okay, so if you're doing the space magic, and I gave myself this category because of my ice princess, um, this is all about enhancing those exotic particles and those unusual damage types. Um, the first one we have down is probably the biggest one for any space magic build out there, and that's improved gravity well. Very simply, this increases your uptime of gravity well. It makes it last 20 seconds longer and reduces the recharge by 20 seconds. Um, it also, for the primary target of gravity well, it reduces their damage resistance rating. It just basically enables you to upkeep gravity well, and that's your primary source of damage and your primary source of control for these builds. Exotic modulation is a second trait. Oh, and I didn't say, I'm sorry. Improved gravity well comes off the Andorian Chimesh pilot escort, which is in the C store.
Which is weird, in my opinion.
Right? Like, very good trait, C store.
Well, no, it's weird that the Chimesh, like, it is a escort with a amazing science power.
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that. That's a good point. Isn't that, I mean, it is an escort, but isn't it a science leaning escort?
Out of the three, there are three in that bundle, and one's more engineering, one's more science, and one's more tactical. That was when they used to do 3 ships of the same basic, and they would do that. One was tac, one was engineer, one was sci.
Right. Okay. So improved gravity well comes off the Andorian ship. Exotic modulation comes from the C store again, the Kronos Temporal Dreadnought Cruiser. And this one, anytime you activate a energy modulation or any temporal operative ability, you get 20% bonus exotic damage. Now, this again plays into that space magic, the anomalies. It won't spawn off gravity well, but if you use any of the temporal operative anomalies, there you go. And there are like 3 or 4 of them. By the book comes off the Grissom Light Science Vessel, also in the C store. This one just extends the duration of all bridge officer anomalies. When I looked it up, it said it was only by 2 seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but a lot can happen in 2 seconds when you're flying around trying to blow stuff up. And then the last 2 I have down are spore infused anomalies, which comes off the C store Somerville or Batil Intel Science vessels, or the electrified anomalies. Both of these do something similar. So the spore infused anomalies comes from the C store. Activating a science or intel bridge officer ability causes all bridge officer anomalies to deal electrical damage and drain the power levels of all of your enemies. The flip side of that, or the cousin to that, is called electrified anomalies. This one comes from the Rising Weather Control Vessel, which was a event reward. It is now currently available in Mud's Market. This one also has all your anomalies deal electrical damage, but instead of draining power from your enemies, it increases the power boost or the power levels of you and your allies. These 2 do stack. So if you can run them both, then you'll drain energy from your enemies and boost that of your allies and yourself. I run both of them.
All right, we're ready for tanking then, are we?
We are ready for tanking, and then we're ready for the 2 categories we forgot.
I kind of already talked about the
that's
one
true.
that
we did.
But
I added it though.
I mean, technically, there's more I could go into than these traits for tank, but some of the big ones, like going the extra mile, which comes from America Worker specialization. For regular, you get it, I think, at 15 points in. Then at 30 points into America Worker, you get the improved variant, or you can get the superior from your temporal agent, and that is when you do unlock the you put enough trait points or skill points into the different specializations. I think it's one that you have to get 3 specializations maxed, and then you'll unlock the superior version of going the extra mile. And depending upon the how good it is, it'll give you plus 10, 15, or 20% increased shield and hull healing if healed target is at or above 90% hull. Then it also will give plus 10, 15, or 20% max hit points for 20 seconds. So it increases your hull healing, and if you're healing somebody, or well, even yourself, I believe, and you're already above 90%, it gives you more hit points. And then, actually, from the ship I'm flying now, the next one is that's a big ship, which comes in the 11th anniversary bundle, the legendary Excelsior Miracle Worker heavy cruiser, because we need to have all these words into all the ship names. It's not the longest named ship, but it's up there. When activating any captain or engineering ability, plus 10 max hit points for 15 seconds, and then it has plus 10 all damage resistance rating for 15 seconds, and that can stack up to 3 times. I know that's notable for people liking to use that. Plot armor was another one. I didn't put it in because it comes from the Constitution Miracle Worker flight deck carrier, which is a lockbox ship, but it also is on the legendary Constitution Temporal flight deck carrier. I'm adding this in right now since we're good on time. I'll add one more in real quick. It is, they call it a lot of us players call it plot armor. If you're looking for it, it's polarized lattice optimized titanium armor, aka plot armor. So whenever you take more than 20% of your max health in less than 5 seconds, you gain plot armor for 15 seconds, which means you're immune to transported warheads. It heals your hull over the duration, that 15 seconds, and it gives you plus 250 all damage resistance rating, and removes hazard debuffs and dots each second that it ticks. And that can only proc once every 45 seconds. So it is a nice trait to have for tanks. Add this in.
So one thing I noticed that we forgot, and I missed scatter volley, but we also missed the specialist firing modes. There's only one trait that really deals with the specialist firing modes, and it's called Vanguard Specialist. This comes from the Sea Store, the legendary Jem'Hadar Vanguard pilot attack ship, also not the longest ship name in the game. And this reduces the recharge and increases the duration of all of the specialist firing modes, and that includes surgical strikes from Intel, suppression barrage from command, reroute reserves to weapons from pilot, recursive shearing from temporal ops, and exceed rated limits from miracle worker. So that one trait affects all of those firing modes. Quick story behind that. When they first announced the legendary Jem'Hadar ship, the trait was not that good, and the fan base kind of revolted. It was a little funny. So they caved and they improved it and made it both increase the duration and decrease the recharge time on those powers, and suddenly it became like one of the best traits in the whole game. I really like surgical strikes. Surgical strikes builds. That's one of my favorite builds in the
Never
game.
would have guessed.
Reroute reserves to weapons is also a lot of fun. I run both of those on a couple different ships, and if you have the specialist, you might as well slot it if you're going to use them. Helps keep that 100% uptime going, especially if you mix it with Boimlers. And then we already talked about cannon scatter volley.
Carriers.
Did you?
We did not put carriers in here at all.
Oh, we did not. We did not talk about carriers. Let me switch to my carrier real quick.
which did I have those in my? I need to add that into the spreadsheet too.
I guess we have some work to do tomorrow.
They are in the other spreadsheet. Yeah,
I'm
like
loading. I'm loading.
repurposed cargo bay hangar.
I'm on the load screen of death. Yeah, apparently this character is on DS9. Must be down in the promenade. There we go. This is my character with all my traits for carriers.
Yeah, they are kind of niche. And so many people do energy weapon builds or a lot of the other stuff that we talked about, and carriers a lot of time not as they don't get the shine that they should.
I've got coordinated assault. You've got the other one. So coordinated assault says anytime you activate beam overload or cannon rapid fire, it applies those to your pets as well. What's the other? Because the other one does fire at will or scatter volley, right?
Yeah, well, the Typhon, which just came in, added in repurposed cargo bay hangar, which launches an advanced Federation Valkyrie fighter squadron when launching a hangar pet, and you can get 6 max. Superior area denial is, yes, a good one.
Sad, right? It's sad.
Let's see here as I'm pulling it up. That comes from the Mir Ingle Strikewing Escort, which, when activating Fire at Will or Scatter Volley, grants Fire at Will 1 and Scatter Volley 1 to your hangar pets. And it upgrades your energy weapons for 20 seconds, which means to target hit minus 30 all damage resistance rating. So you essentially are reducing your target's damage resistance while boosting the damage while giving your hangar pets Fire at Will and Scatter Volley. So that way they do more damage.
So I got sad down. I'll have to work on these others. Let's see what else is on here. Grethor's fire. That one's not great. If you don't have anything else, you can slot it. Reactive repair nanites. That's a good one. It says using a hull heal ability will also heal your hangar pets. Relaunch and repair.
Scramble fighters. That comes from Delta Alliance Duty Officer Pack. So get lucky on that or buy it off the exchange. To all active hangar pets, it makes them immune to all damage for 5 seconds. And 25% all damage for 5 seconds, restores 50% max haul. Feel like I'm missing the trigger on that. Activating the launch functionality on any hangar pet causes all active hangar pets that you own to gain that, which is the immune for 5 seconds and plus 25% all damage, and restores the 50% of your max haul. It would be probably very nice if let's say you have hangar pets that keep dying. That could be beneficial. I personally like to keep my hangar pets around.
Where does coordinated assault come from? Is that on your list?
Coordinated assault is from the Alita Heavy Strikewing Escort, or the legendary Akira, Patel Flight Deck Raptor, or the Juil Tactical Carrier Warbird.
Okay. I didn't get all that, but I'll look up the rest later.
I can send you a page, or I can put them at the bottom of.
And we mentioned, what was the other one? Repurposed cargo bay hangar.
Yes. You'll notice at the bottom of our show notes are links that are showing up, and that's to STO wikis. That's me quickly Googling or searching and finding an STO wiki. Um,
Ah, yes, the escort carrier that gives you extra pets. That one still surprises me. That ship's smaller than I expected. Shoot.
and that's if you have recommendations for traits for anything that we didn't mention, feel free to speak up. I'm always open to adding more stuff.
Well, and you thought we were going to run out of time.
I tried to go as fast as I could when reading this.
Okay, so I may have gone a little overboard.
I'll just say this: the show notes are probably going to end up in a pinned comment because I there's no way all this text is going to fit in the I think 800 character limit that they give us for the description of the YouTube video.
That's funny. Yeah, sorry. It's good information though. We're trying to be nice here.
I mean it is good information. You just have to
Excuse me, sorry. Coughing in everybody's ear here. Okay, so that is all that we had for traits, and by no means is that a contemporary list. There are several other traits out there that you can use that are just as effective. These are just some of the very common ones that you see a lot of people talk about and a lot of people use. But yeah, there's more out there. We didn't even touch on like energy specific traits or whatnot.
Well, yeah, I was like, because if we go to energy specific, that means we need to add in the plasma one from the Gorn ship.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna do plasma, you that trait is pretty much a must have. Yeah.
Do you need to do the daily, sir?
I do.
We can go ahead and knock that out real quick before we call it a night. Darken, sometimes we do, like, if we do a build video, we do tend to try and stay on the budget side of things. Just because we ourselves don't have a whole lot of the lockbox ships. We have a few, but they're few and far between, and of course those are harder to get. We mentioned a couple, but they're harder to get for the vast majority of players. But that's not always true. Like when we did our carrier build, we kind of threw that out and just went with the best that we could do. So it just kind of depends on what we're doing for the time. But it's funny though, because we actually have a whole document about our rules for like our budget builds and whatnot, which is hilarious.
Well, I mean, it helps keep us on track on making sure, like, we want to help people, like, and we know how if you go and watch some of these build videos, and I'm not throwing shade at them. They are great videos and you can learn a lot from them. It's a lot of some of these people have every lockbox ship, every trait available to them. So when they're doing builds, they can put together the greatest build ever. And that's great. But there's a lot of us players that have not dipped that heavily into getting all of the ships and things. And so that's why we try to lean a little bit more away from lockbox ship traits when we do our builds.
I mean, that's true, but also everybody does those, right? Like you've got MCU Stu and Augie when he did build videos,
Spencer and
like all of their builds tend to be very similar because they all use those rare, hard to get traits and whatnot. And sure, they're pulling a million DPS, right? Like it's fantastic. But most people are looking at that and saying we're never going to get to that point. So we made a conscious effort to tone it back for most of our builds and stuff. Most, not all. Anyway, moving right along.
Our goal is to help you be able to go from why am I dying or why am I not doing much in a normal TFO and be going into an advanced TFO and like being the hero.
There you go. It's a good way to put it. All right, I'm going to queue us up for the daily. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and do space. I know it takes a little bit longer, but
or heck, even going into elites. Like some of our builds, I think, are probably elite capable. Now, there's more to doing elites than just slapping a build together.
Did you get the wee woo, sir?
I did. Wee woo.
Okay. I was waiting.
Some of those are like doing elites. I'm a little hesitant to do elites because getting into a pug group for an elite is such a hit and miss thing. Ship of the line. That is a good trait. Let me pull up. And for those that don't know, here I'm gonna put out another great utility program for looking stuff up. Veger.netliffy.app. It's visual glossary for easy reference. It's a way you can search through for all kinds of fun and games. But yeah, Ship of the Line comes from the legendary Avenger, America Worker Battle Cruiser. When you activate emergency power ability, you get, and it can stack up to 3 times, but you get plus 20% crit severity, plus 10% crit severity per each additional stack. So that means you can get, what, 40% crit severity increase? Pretty good. Actually, am I using that trait? I might be using that trait. I am using that trait. It's right here.
Yes, we are.
Yes, there are definitely some people that queue for elites that I don't know how to, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be a dick. I just think they need guidance. Probably would be a good way to put it. They need some assistance on either what they're doing in there or assistance on getting their build to a point that they can be in there just fine and dandy.
Target's shields have failed.
Not too far away. Don't power slide too far away. There we go. Okay, move into the other side.
Because like I see this game as it's a learning curve for everybody, and some people unfortunately are still learning. Maybe not unfortunately.
All right, I'm gonna go to this one out here.
Okay, then I will go. Let's see where Firefly goes.
Well done.
I'll sit
Try
next to this one.
This before I get shot.
Should be able to.
Especially with my fighters, they'll get
We'll
most of the hate.
tractor mines against the Herc ships.
But well, I'm like, I'm not trying. I don't have a clue on where the person is at in the game of the bit. Like, are they still learning? Because there's a lot of people that are still learning. It doesn't serve anyone any good to just go out and be a dick to them. I don't know. The drawback is it's not easy to help somebody if they don't want the help. I'm gonna turn back around because they're all on the other end, and it was just you and I at this far end.
If you just want to take the middle, I'm pretty sure I can hold Alpha.
I'm pretty sure I can hold whatever.
Refugee ships heading down escape route Alpha. Protect them.
Last time we were in here,
Beta.
like the last time we were all in here, I think 4 people were taking Beta and Gamma, and I was sitting on Alpha by myself and even took out the Dreadnought.
Oh, I remember.
I'm like, I was questioning my build until now.
I'm not on Katis, but I feel like my carrier build's still pretty good. I mean, it's the build we put together, so,
Yeah.
With all kinds of fighters. I've got the special fed fighters and then the extra ones that launch.
And see, Dark, that's also why we do these videos. We want to help the people that might feel like they're struggling take that next step without spending tons of money. Like, you really don't have to spend tons of money to have decent builds.
No, I mean, you can do it. We've done strictly free builds without spending any money at all, too, but it's harder. It's a lot harder.
It is harder. Okay, they went immune, so I'm going to fly around behind them. Take them out. There we go. Go immune for me. I can get around your one-sided shield. And then I'll just blow up your friend that comes in before they even get to do it.
Well, you were being diplomatic. Now you're being aggressive.
What? Taking out the enemies from behind?
Yeah. Yeah, very aggressively. Oh look, now it's my turn to blow people up. Fire away, guys.
I have probably one of the weirdest fire at will builds on this ship that I've done. It's very front-facing damage.
Oh, that's kind of how my Odyssey is built. A lot of dual beam banks.
Yeah, I do have one beam array, but I have a lot of dual beam banks, and on the aft I put omnis, and then yeah. I'm rethinking. Well, I'm thinking about whether I want to keep one of my consoles or if I want to replace it with an isomag on this ship. There's another isomag. I could do more damage.
Head to escape route Beta.
That's very true. Ships. How many isomags are you carrying right now?
Being that this ship is a America worker, I have 7 right now. I could go to 8.
What would you drop?
Herc ship spotted at escape route Gamma. Get over there.
It's a survivability console. A blade of hazard shielding. It's all right. I don't know. When I was leveling the ship up, I was taking a lot of damage, and I think getting my mastery done, I don't now need the extra resistances and yeah.
I agree with Darkin. More isomag.
I probably have the isom. Yeah, it's probably sitting in my bank or my inventory or.
That's funny.
Like I said, I only put the ablative on there because, like I said, when I was mastering chips and stuff, it was keeping me alive at times because I was taking a lot of damage. But now that the ship's mastered, I have all like the mastery package done with the extra. you know, hull plating and yada yada, you know, all that good stuff.
Indeed.
And if I blow them up fast enough, I don't take damage.
Head to escape route Beta. Protect
As they say,
refugee
the
ships.
best defense is a great offense.
Refugee ships heading down escape route Alpha. Protect them.
I feel like I'm just sitting here. Oh, it's because I am. There we go. Now there's ships to blow up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dark. You don't need defense if it's dead. I mean, I am running an
Earth
exceed
ship spotted at
rated
escape
limits
route
build,
Gamma. Get over
which
there.
not shocking. What is those anomalies? I've not seen those type of anomalies before. Arkin, do you know what those are? They were on the screen on the right.
They look like little subspace tears.
Maybe was that what they are? We got a torpedo boat in here that's doing those.
Oh, could be.
I mean, we just talked about subspace tears and from the one.
In a minute.
Here, everyone have some more haste.
Why, thank you, sir.
I do love that console. I'm so glad I have the Awani. Just for that console.
Refugee ships heading down escape route Alpha. Protect them.
I have that ship now. Because you were going to use it on that other build.
Head to escape
The
route
console's
Beta. Protect
pretty
the
darn
refugee
good.
ships.
I have a feeling I'm going to get one more enemy group over here.
Apparently my refugee ships are trying to figure out how to get past each other. They're competing.
There we go. Right at the buzzer. Oh, they're gone.
It
Had to
went
help with the other.
immune.
That's everyone.
Well, that's
We're
that. There you go. You can't be immune from behind.
Oh my.
Sure. All right. Leave.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for today. Monday, we'll be doing Fun Night again. Not sure exactly what we'll be doing for Fun Night, but we'll figure something out.
I mean,
We've been leveling some alts, but I'm kind of thinking of maybe taking a day and going back to getting marks on the KDF fleet, just for
Sure.
funsies.
KDF fleet has just pushed forward some fleet holding bigger things, so that we now have more stuff to work on.
Maybe we need a day of that. And next Thursday we are doing a build video. We're going to do a different take on beam overload. I'll be honest with you, when I first saw this build, I didn't really much care for it, but after it was explained to me, I find myself interested.
Let's see.
And my cat says goodnight.
Disruptor. I'm looking
So
for.
we'll be doing an unusual build video next Thursday. As always, I will see you out there.
Well, thanks for coming, listening, everybody. We will be rating somebody, so stick around while we end here. Guess it's weird not having Tabby here. I'll just say that it kind of throws me a little off. So
Yeah, me too.
computer end program.